A brand new report from Brian Windhorst suggests that Bam Adebayo will be the next player on Team USA to get the Jason Tatum treatment. I'll break down exactly what that means on this episode of Heat Digest, as well as highlight the reunion going on for the Miami Heat over at the Olympics right now. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest, and we're going to do it right now, so let's get to it. Will Bam play against South Sudan? It's a big question because of a quote from Brian Windhorst that he said yesterday on ESPN discussing why Jason Tatum exactly didn't play against Serbia 2 days ago in Team USA's first game of pool play. Now, if you don't know, the Olympics are off and running. They're in full stride, but now these games matter. Every game we play, we need to win. We need to win big. We need to establish ourselves as the most dominant team currently out there. Obviously, on paper, it's without a doubt we have a team of Avengers. That's literally who we assembled. It is a made-up team. It seems fictional, but it's true, and we should beat everyone by 100 because we have the best team and it's not close. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but let's call it the way it is. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid. This roster is ridiculous, and I'd even mention some of the guys. Now, this game that we played, the first game that we played in pool play was against Serbia 2 days ago on July 28th. The U.S. won 110-84 in a dominant victory over Serbia, but it didn't start this way. It was 10-2 early. Team USA got punched in the mouth to start this game, but we quickly came back thanks to players like LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Durant shot 8 of 8 from the field at halftime. In the first half alone, he went to halftime shooting 8 of 8, perfect from the field overall, with 21 points, simply dominant. And if you don't know, Durant hadn't played in the friendly games. He hadn't played in the exhibitions for Team USA because he was dealing with a calf injury. Now, in the midst of that, obviously he didn't play. We saw basically everyone else on Team USA play in different lineups, different dynamics, just different structures overall because they have so much diversity and so much talent. There's so many different things they can actually do. First game of actual pool play, games that actually mattered. Serbia ended up losing, again, 110-84 to Team USA. And again, propelled by LeBron James, Drew Holiday, Derek White even was playing phenomenal. But two guys that did not play a single minute of this game, Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum. There's big questions. It was probably the biggest headline following this massive win for the Team USA. But again, why focus on that? Well, these two guys, they were massive names, obviously NBA All-Stars, all NBA players, did not even see the floor for 1 minute of basketball time against Serbia. Now, why would that be? Well, things were just working for Team USA. There's no real way around it, and because of the dynamic they were going up against with Nikola Jovic and Nikola Jokic, both on the other team, and as well as a bunch of other NBA talent and a lot of good size for Serbia, we saw a much bigger lineup, and I know Tatum does have some great size, being 6'9", 6'10", playing the small and power forward. He has so much to his game that he can really do, but we still didn't see Tatum play, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he'd be filling in for players like Booker, LeBron, and Durant. And because of the way they were playing in the little 8-man rotation, 10-man rotation they had going, they just didn't want to see the dynamic blown up. And also let those two guys rest because this game is out of reach already. No reason to put these guys out there if this is actually working for us now. And maybe this is something they go about in the future where they let guys who we don't need, who don't fit the scheme or the schematics of this matchup appropriately, have them sit for the majority, if not the entirety of the game, so they are ready to go in the next one where they know they'll be used. Again, it's a very weird and interesting dynamic because of the amount of talent currently on Team USA, and it's not going to change. I feel like this is going to be something that happens game after game. I don't think we're going to be using our entirety of our bench, and we're going to have a full 12 to 14 man rotation going on game after game for this Team US team, unless fatigue, injuries, or foul trouble becomes a significant factor for this US team. So now let's get to Windhorst's comment that really is some big news for not only the Miami Heat, but for Bam Adebayo and Team USA. Now, shout out to NBA Central for posting not only the clip from ESPN, from citing Brian Windhorst, I went blank, but also producing the quote as well. So Brian Windhorst went on to say this from ESPN yesterday, July 29th, saying, and I quote, "South Sudan's got a bunch of athletic wing players. Tatum's going to be out there. They're going to be switching all of those screens because they got to play the perimeter. And there may be a guy like Bam Adebayo that gets benched." And that's the end of the quote from Brian Windhorst. Again, he said this on ESPN yesterday on July 29th. It's a very, very interesting dynamic. It's a very interesting question. I know I keep saying that, but again, think about if you were Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, anyone on that coaching staff. You have 14 of 15 of the best guys in the entire world playing basketball for you, and you have to put out the best, schematically the best lineup night in and night out to put your team in the best position to win, not only every game, but then to put those wins in a row and win the gold medal for the entire country. So again, it's a lot going on. There's a lot of different moving parts because of this is the first time they're playing together. Obviously, we had the friendly games, but not everyone was healthy. Now we get in the pool play where these games absolutely matter. So if things need to work and things are working, like they were against Serbia, and those two guys aren't seeing any playing time, I don't think it's because of a personal grudge. I don't think that it's not because they're good enough, obviously. It's because the things on the court currently as constructed are working, and they don't want to go away from that. Do I think Bam Adebayo will be the next player against South Sudan in this instance, which will be played tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? I don't think so. I do not believe so. Bam Adebayo is the most versatile defender, not like possibly on this team, if not in the entirety of the NBA. This guy can defend the 1 through the 5, doesn't matter if it's full court, in the half court, outside the three-point line, inside the three-point line. Bam Adebayo is one of the most versatile defenders in the entire world, and I don't see a scenario where he is put on the bench and doesn't come in because of his inabilities or just a position he'd put the team in because of his inabilities. I don't think Bam Adebayo has limits on his game that would really alter him to that point. I obviously, Wendy was using it as an example. He threw it out there. He had to mean it in some way to use Bam as a exact example. But again, would you rather have Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid, for that matter, guarding someone on a pick and roll where they have to cause a switch, and now he has to guard a 6'8", 6'10 forward who can dribble the basketball as well as shoot it? Bam Adebayo is probably going to be my vote every single time over at least those two guys. I know it's a different conversation, every different scenario, but again, Bam Adebayo has proven year after year in the league, as well as now with the Olympics, he can defend anyone, anywhere, and he seems to be very, very good at his job. He's very good at what he does. I don't believe Bam Adebayo will be getting the Jason Tatum / Tyrese Halliburton treatment in the game against South Sudan. I think we'll see him early and often, so I'm leaving the question to you. Do you think Bam Adebayo will ever see treatment like Halliburton and Tatum for the reasons I've presented, in the sense that they're not playing because what's working on the floor is simply working, and these guys can't really fit in and have it mold around them adequately to then allow it to continue that way? Again, it's a little bit of a confusing question in the sense that why don't you play these guys? Obviously, you can unload the bench, let LeBron and all these other guys who have played substantial minutes get some rest. But again, if it's working for you, don't want to go away from it, that's a totally different thing that I totally understand. But again, going up 110 to 84, and I know this was the final score, but again, it wasn't close for the last quarter of this game. Why they didn't put Tatum and Halliburton in to fill those minutes, again, is a very, very important question. So it's going to come down to you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Will Bam ever be utilized this way, or do you think because of his game, he will play every time they possibly need him? But now let's get to the reunion that's going on at the Olympics with the Miami Heat. Now, if you didn't watch the Serbia game, again, it was a joy to watch. If you don't watch those highlights, at least go watch Durant's, because it was like poetry in motion with the basketball. It was beautiful. But again, for the Miami Heat, it was literally a reunion. We know Eric Spoelstra is on the coaching staff. He's basically the 1A assistant coach underneath Steve Kerr. But followed by that, we have Bam Adebayo actively on the roster for the Miami Heat, as well as Team USA. Dwayne Wade was one of the commentators, the broadcasters for the NBC network, working the game. It was a great time to listen and just hear in what Dwayne Wade had to say, as all of these guys either played with or against or both. And he has great insight. He has great knowledge of the game. And it's also just really cool to watch someone who you watched as a kid play for your favorite team, then go spectate and commentate on players like LeBron, who obviously he played with and against, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, who's a young version of a Dwayne Wade, I could argue, in the sense that he's a slashing two-guard who is not scared of anything. He's freakish athletic. He can shoot the outside shot, but again, it's not his dominant way of scoring. And he has a great mid-range game, and he has the ability to, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, slash to the basket. That's obviously his number one way of offense. It's just a really good time to listen. And finally, all those guys playing for the Miami Heat or at some time, as well as Niko Jovic, as we mentioned earlier. He played for Serbia in this game. He didn't play a lot, but he did play pretty well for the time he did get, making a three over Kevin Durant. It was a great shot to see, especially from a young guy like Niko, getting this experience playing alongside players like Nikola Jokic, multiple-time MVP, one of the best players in the world without a doubt. playing alongside him against a team like Team USA, really trying to get in good reps, good effort, and really learn from the experience. Overall, a collection of Miami Heat players and associates and just members of either previous Heat teams or current Heat teams all together at Team USA, or at the Olympics, playing for Team USA and other teams abroad. It's a joy to watch. I think it's just awesome to see young guys like Jovic playing for other teams and playing against strong talent like Team USA. I will say Jovic got caught dirty, and if you have not seen this video or seen the picture, this is gold. And obviously I cannot zoom in, but you see LeBron flexing his muscle as he was fouled, going to the basket, made it because he's the strongest human being to ever walk the earth. He was celebrating. Jovic ended up on his back, and I promise you this is probably one of the best photos of all time when it comes down to basketball. You have everyone taking pictures of LeBron who is celebrating. You have the two young ladies standing just behind Jovic looking down at him in kind of just confusion. It almost looks like disgust. I'm not saying it is, but it kind of looks like what the heck is going on. And Jovic looks like he just does not know what hit him because he's never really seen someone like USA Olympic LeBron James has, because if you haven't watched him play over the last few games, it has been historical, and that is no exaggeration. He has been phenomenal. There's no other way around it. But again, thought this was a cool, funny little moment. Go look it up on Twitter and the rest of social media to get the actual zoom in of Nico's face on the ground here, because it is hysterical. But again, thought it was cool to see the reunion. All these guys either currently with the Heat, previously with the Heat, all down there in the Olympics playing for gold, trying to represent their countries effectively and well, and not only their countries but the teams they play for. It's a great time. It's awesome entertainment, and if you are not watching basketball, Olympic basketball, you absolutely need to. But again, that'll be it for this episode of Heat Digest, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Remind you guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the Bam Adebayo and Tatum situation, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.